With the mission to keep as many men on as many guns for as long as possible, we called him Doc. Welcome to Combat Vet Vision. And now your host, Aaron Chief Siebert.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to Combat Vet Vision. This is my podcast. This is where a lot of not only myself, we get to come in here, my guests, my sponsors, supporters, volunteers, get to come in here and talk about the things that involve combat vet stuff and why that's important. And it's our opinions, our stories. It's there to educate the public. It's there to maybe help some veteran that's struggling through whatever they might be struggling through. My guest today again is Eric Ellis. Eric Ellis was on some time ago. You know, he came up with the title "The Good, the Bad, the Ugly" because he's been through a lot. He's gone through a lot of different situations, and this part we're getting into the good. There's a lot of stories with me and Eric. You know, I've spent some time talking to him recently. It was amazing to kind of reflect back on some of the things that we've experienced together and gone through together. He's helped out veterans. He's helped himself out. He's gone from the bottom to the top of things. So, Eric, hey, thanks a lot for being on the show again. It's great to have you. Great to see you. First of all, I just want to say, hey, man, I'm super proud of you. I'm super proud to know you. You know, I don't always know what the extent of the reach of everything we do, everything we touch, everything we kind of have communication with, but to see you thrive, it's absolutely amazing. And to have known you for so long, I think I've known you since 2015. And to see you go through all these different phases in your life, obviously you're still dealing with a lot of stuff, but at the same time, you've really conquered a lot of things. And so it's amazing, man. We got to share some time. Just to let you know, Eric and I spent some time at the golf tournament for the Southern California chapter of the PTSD Foundation of America. Gray Star put that thing on, and it's really awesome. A quick shout out to Cynthia Daniel, who has been instrumental in putting these things together for 6 years going. Would have been 7, however, COVID took one of those years away. But she made an amazing impact, and Eric went down there with me. It was really cool to see a lot of things that were being put together to send our vets that are really dealing with PTSD and dealing with a lot of things to Camp Hope. And Eric and I have both been to Camp Hope, but came back. And Eric, yeah, let's talk about it, man. We got that ugly, the bad, and now we're going to talk about some good stuff. But yeah, go ahead and talk a little bit.
Yeah, man. Like you said, it's always good seeing you, man. I know you've been away for quite some time, so I'm also very appreciative of the time we got to spend together. Yeah, that was a cool event, man. I remember when we first did it in
17 or 16.
16, I believe, and yeah, it's grown, man. It's grown, and I was just glad that I was able to go back with you. You know, even though I'm not, working under the PTSD Foundation banner, but just going and able to support and see some guys that I haven't seen in a while. But I'm glad you guys are still doing it, because that's a righteous event for struggling veterans. So that was cool. Yeah, man. I mean, we did talk about all the BS that came with me being a triple threat veteran, being PTSD, alcohol, and substance abuse. But yeah, I don't know if you remember me telling you the other day that I just live on a different planet now.
Yeah, I think I know you've said that, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what you say about that.
Well, man, life is serious. Life is a serious matter, and I don't think I truly understood that up until about maybe 4 years ago, man. you know what I'm saying? Having children kind of brought that realization. I never really wanted to have children, when I was younger. It wasn't on my to-do list. Fortunately, it happened. You know what I mean? Because it really did point me in a different direction, and it wasn't an overnight thing. It was a long road to get to the point where I am today, to understand that life does matter, and what we do with our time really what we do with our time can not only benefit us, but it can benefit other people. So yeah, getting out of my head was a big one. And like I said, I live on a different planet now, man. Just the way I think about things, the way I go about certain situations is totally different. When I was in my struggle, or when I was using and drinking, I was living in a house, man. This is kind of weird analogy, but I was sitting in a house, man, that was on fire. You know what I mean? And my family left that house because they seen what kind of mess it was, and I was sitting in an armchair that was on fire, man. And in layman terms, man, I just had to finally get out, and build a foundation, that was suitable for a productive life, and thank God, I have my wife who supported me, that believed in me, even after a lot of stuff that, I put her through. And I think about it, man, because if I were in her shoes, if the roles were reversed, would I give me, or would I give her that many chances? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's super humbling, man, because she did put up with a lot, and I commend her for I guess following through with what she knew what she kind of knew what she was getting herself into, and for her to be that strong, because I don't think I would invest that much in a person like myself, but I do commend her for that, because I guess her plans have come to fruition. You know what I'm saying? So she's seen something in me that I really didn't see in myself at the time, or she put up with a lot of BS that I personally wouldn't put up with, but yeah, she's a good woman, and she's really helped me out. So with that, it kind of changed the way I think about others. I try to see the good in people if they need to. You know how it is, like I try to give people the benefit of the doubt more, and it's really helped me out, because there's a lot of combat vets, man, that go through tough times. In the field of work that you and I have done, there's some crazy situations, but it's good for me to see the bright side of things, the possibilities of what can be, so these days, man, I just keep in mind that life is serious and life matters, like they say, every saint has a past and every sinner has a future, so that's kind of where I'm at right now, man. Life is good, I work on myself on a daily basis. I try to wake up, with a gratitude list, and before my feet hit the floor, man, I rattle off about 10 things that I'm grateful for. You know, my bills are paid. You know, I have a beautiful family. I wake up next to my daughter. You know, even though she can be in a bad mood or whatever, you know, I still have that, you know, that blessing to wake up next to a 3-year-old little girl, you know, that you know, that loves me. And um, it's just a lot different now. You know, my gratitude is super high. You know, and I'm trying to get back to the person that I was before the military, before the using, before the alcohol. You know, so I've got about 3 years of sobriety under my belt, and every day it's learning a little bit more about myself. You know, so I'm appreciative of the fact that I'm still growing and still learning about myself. If that makes any sense, you know, just
It totally does. And, you know, as I hear you speak, you know, I know, no matter what, it seems, you know, you've always been there for me to help even veterans that might need it. And, I think you inspire a lot of guys. You know, you've seen me do what I do, and I've seen you do what you do, and it's amazing. And I will say that Eric has probably been one of those guys that kind of put me in check with some things that I'm not always familiar with. But you know, I think we all need to have some accountability, and I think Eric has been really good about doing that, and not in a bad way, like in a positive way that's kind of like makes you think about your life, makes you think about the decisions you make and how you need to kind of approach it. Because he's right, life is very serious, but it needs to have a lot of balance in it. It needs to have some fun times, and Eric and I can laugh and be crazy about some things, but in the bottom line of it all, there's some real seriousness to it, and Eric brings out some really good points. He still helps out veterans in all kinds of ways. You know, he's dedicated to like doing a lot of really cool things for his family. You know, but you're doing it at your pace and your time.
yeah, man. I'm blessed. I'm blessed, Chief, to be able to do things. You know, like to spend this time with my daughter at home while my wife goes to school. You know, I people like ask me like people I grew up with or whatever, they haven't seen me in a while. You know, hey, what are you doing right now, or what's your income? I'm like, I made a good investment when I was 17 years old. You know, and now, you know, I love the VA. You know, I everything I have is because of those 4 years of military service. You know, granted, I did to go to Iraq, I did go to Afghanistan, but you know, everything that I have and my family has right now is because of my military service. You know, so man, I'm taking advantage of that. You know, I get to stay home with my kids or with my dog and my daughter. You know, my wife gets to go to school. You know, I've started a business. Shout out to the Bastard Union. But you know, and do things like this. So, like I said, that gratitude is always there, man. And like you were saying, the job we had, man, it's very serious. You know, we deal with veteran suicide, homelessness, drug addiction. You know, marital issues, divorce. You know, it is serious, man. And I appreciate you letting me tag team this, even though, you know, I'm, you know, officially not, I don't have a job title, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, you still fit the billet of a veteran
yeah,
coordinator, and you have, you know, obviously the backing as a volunteer to the
yeah,
PTSD Foundation of America, Warrior Build, all these different things that you're part of indirectly and directly.
yeah. But it's even better sometimes because I don't got to do those reports. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
I do.
But you know, the help that was given to me, like when I met you in 2014, 15, you know, right off the bat, you know, I was shown support by you, and shout out to Nick Ham because he did do a lot for me. And, you know, any way I could give back now that I'm in the situation that I'm in, I mean, like, lay it on me, you know what I mean? So,
And I think there's some really cool things that you said, and I think one of the biggest reasons why I admire you is because you don't take a victim type mentality of things. You're like, hey, you're still dealing with stuff, you're still doing a lot of things, but you're obviously taking a lot of personal responsibility, utilizing a lot of tools that you got, the appreciation for your service to this country, and then the VA's backing of making things happen. You're right. We can all look at it like no other country has a VA system. No other country has this kind of support.
yeah, man.
It's important that if we have that, to take advantage of it, get involved in it. Don't look at it for all the problems it might have, but what are the solutions that you're finding along the way? And you've had to find a lot of your own solutions with the backing and help of all the support. It's amazing to see that.
Yeah, and I'm blessed, man, because when I do reach out for support, I get to meet people, man, like good men, you know, like yourself. Technical difficulty here. You know, I've met good men like you, Nick Ham, and you know, there's some other people from. Shout out to Ryan Beamish from the Simplify Fund. Other men that have, you know, been through the scenario somewhat like me, and I get to piggyback off of what you guys do. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it kind of gives me you know, 8 years ago, man, I'd never thought that I'd be able to start my own business. Never. You know, fast forward, I'm doing it now. It's not easy, but I know it can be done. So I try to surround myself with other men that are just doing it, you know, maybe indirectly, you know, snatching ideas and stuff like that. I have that other guy I was telling you about, Eric Perez. You know, I met him through the Simplified Fund, and man, just spent a weekend with him up in Sacramento, and now we're super tight, and I love what he's doing, and just that support, you know, that other people like they have that saying for the girls: if you can see her, you can be here. It's a good saying, man, because
right,
you know, if somebody else does it, you know, there's a good chance I can do it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, nothing's really impossible, man. If you put in the work, you know, just, you know, practice makes progress. It might not make perfection, but it makes progress, man. So I dig, you know, hanging around other veterans, other guys who've been through it, you know, other people in recovery, other entrepreneurs, you know, and it's fairly new to me, but like I said, being 3 years in, man, it's I know how far I've come and how far I can go if I just stay on the path, you know. Small victories, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm not striving for greatness, man. You know, I'm okay with good. You know,
Yeah, that's good.
I hear a lot of people say, "Man, you got to be great, this and that, strive for greatness." I'm like, man, that's a lot of
Pressure.
expectations and pressure, you know. Like, I'm like, if I have a good meal, I'm super happy with that, man. You know, all my days may not be super great, but if I have a week of good days, I can't really ask for much more than that. You know what I'm saying?
I do. And I just kind of want to say, you know, when you talk about therapeutic effect and you're, I remember, you know, I knew you as Eric Ellis, you know, a pretty good musician. You would like to come in, jam out on some guitars, but now, you know, I've seen you these last couple of days. You know, I know I've known you've been into cars, but you know, you got this cool car that you like. You and Perez are doing the off-road riding of the mountain bikes. You know, there's a lot of other things. Cooking, man, you really like cooking. I didn't know about that
Love it,
about
man.
you, but Eric can cook some awesome awesome food. And he takes his time, and he's got a smile on his face. It's just like it's his thing. But you put yourself into a lot of therapeutic effect on some items that you've grabbed a hold of, these hobbies. But
Yeah.
but for me, it seemed like you started off with one, like you always had this music
Yeah.
therapy that was part of you, and now you've been able to kind of tap into some other ones. If you can elaborate on that, it'd be awesome.
Well, yeah, when I met you, yeah, Nick, you and Nick were building that music room, and I was like, man, I play. So, you know, because when I was in my drug addiction, man, I didn't really pick up a guitar. You know, I didn't really pick up a bass. I didn't kind of lost track on multiple facets of my life during my addiction. But yeah, when I hung out with you guys, and I was like, man, this is way cool. You know, like the veterans, combat vets, music, Monster. You know, like. Yeah, so I do that. I've always had an interest in cars. I got a good deal on that Monte Carlo, you know, so I have that. And it's funny because I have the car, I have all my music gear, and I hardly play now. I don't drive that damn thing, you know, it's too hot.
Mountain bike, the mountain bike though.
But the mountain biking is a great outlet. You know, I do enjoy that. And
cooking.
Cooking, yeah. So I guess it's everything I do, man. Everything I do, I had a pastor tell me one time. I was working with a Pastor Tim Clark in Rosemead, California, and he does.
I met him. Yeah.
Oh, you met him? Oh, yeah.
Remember I went to that event with you. I totally
exactly.
forgot. There's so many things we've done together, and he kind of sparked my memory.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we went to that.
Yeah, we did that. Yeah. So my dad worked with him. They did like he has his Clark's home renovation company. So he does really good work. So one time he told me, I was working with him, he said, do everything like you were doing it for Jesus. You know, like whatever you do, try to do it like you're doing it for Jesus or doing it for yourself, you know? So everything I try to do with my best foot forward, you know? So I'm not just going through the motions. So when I do things, whatever I do, you know, whether it's working on a car, playing music, cooking, I try to put my best foot forward, you know, so the end product is fruitful, if you will, you know. So and it takes a while, but that also keeps my mind focused on what I'm doing. And sometimes it always doesn't come out the way I want it, but it's just me trying my best, you know, because I didn't try my best for about a decade, man.
Right.
You know? And I really have nothing to show for about that 10-year gap, you know. And like I said, being about 3 years sober now, in those 3 years, man, I've done a lot, man. I've got a home, a beautiful house, married, started my own business. I'm a student again. You know, I fixed my credit. So just in that short amount of time with me putting my best foot forward, trumps those 10 years of me just going through the motion.
Right. But all this that you're talking about, for one, takes work. And for another, I think the reason I really like harping on the fact that I've seen these hobbies that you've gathered, you know, because so often you might grab one hobby and it's real easy to get kind of tired of it, and maybe that's not going to work. So it's important to kind of branch out. And like you said, you may not be playing music that much anymore, or the car, but you know the car's in the garage. You started it up the other day. It's like, put a smile on your face. I've seen you grab a guitar and jam out on it. But the other cooking's always there now. So you're I use it every day. You have these other therapeutic effects that kind of put perspective on you and add some value to your life. And that's super important. And I just admired it. And I think you have it like kind of figured out. And I talk a little bit about the Happy Trap book, just so everybody knows. Happy Trap's like chasing happiness leads to all kinds of disappointments, but chasing balance leads to the ability to kind of like love your day every day. Maybe everything didn't work, but 10 out of the 12 did. So let's not focus on the 2 that failed, but
yeah, that's a good parallel, man. Because, you know, like chasing greatness. Hey, you know, like, yeah, I'll read your book. You know what I mean? Like, I'm okay with good. You know, I'll read your book on greatness, though. You know what I'm saying? But you know,
exactly.
But it did take me a while to get here, man. You know, like when I took that hiatus in 2017. You know, I had to detach myself for a while. You know, and really focus on the problem. You know, like I ditched social media. I still don't do social media today. There's still certain things I don't do and will not do, you know, that are imperative to my recovery, you know. Social media, you know, I don't, you already know, like I'm not big into politics. There's, you know, I don't put myself in certain situations, certain places, people, places, and things, you know, that can be triggers, or, you know, that can land me in jail or whatever, you know. So I am super conscious of those people, places, and things that I had to stay away from, that, you know, that just not conducive to my recovery. But it wasn't an overnight process getting here. You know, you know, like I said, I had to detach for a couple of years, man. And
yeah, it's kind of like putting yourself in blackface. And blackface, just for everybody knows, when they go to Camp Hope, they're straight up working on their program and working on themselves, or they don't have all these distractions. So you've already had this experience of that, and you kind of said, "Hey, I got to do this for my own well-being."
But
And
it was cool because it happened through like the pandemic, so everybody was in that black phase with me.
that's a great concept. Like everybody had to be in this, right? Yeah.
Yeah. No one was like, "Hey, what happened to Eric?" You know, nah, it was what happened to the world.
What happened to the world?
So it's cool, man. I'm blessed. You see how I live, you know. So I really have no complaints these days, man. Just had to get out of that burning house, you know.
Yeah, and that's a great analogy. You know, as people try to figure out what it's like, you know, for you to say, "Hey, I'm sitting in this chair that's just burning, and everybody's just leaving around me because they just can't stick around the burning chair." But I'm in this burning chair because it's got a hold of me. It's trapped me. It owns me.
Man.
And somehow or another, you were able to pull yourself out of it and say, "No, that's not for me." I think that's a super awesome analogy. I really enjoyed it. And the other thing, you know, if you could, man, I know you're getting ready to kick off this clothing line. You know, Eric didn't say, you know, he said business, but it's actually a clothing line. If you want to just kind of share kind of what you got going on with that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's really awesome to see. I'll be supporting some of that stuff as well. So thanks.
All right. So about 8 months ago, myself, my nephew Ian Sanchez, who formerly a Marine, now he's Army National Guard, dual service guy, and my old battle buddy Isaac Clark, Iraq, Afghanistan combat vet, dark side Marine. We decided start a clothing brand. You know, it was a shot in the dark. You know, I asked my buddy, I had a couple pictures, and I had this name, Bastard Union, and I know the name is a little rough around the edges, you know, like
right.
In my mind, I was like, man, I would wear something that said bastard, you know, because I have been a bastard before, you know. It's kind of has like a dual meaning, you know.
Right.
The unrepresented people, the underrepresented people. You can take it however you want to take it, So I asked my buddy. My nephew was down from the inception of it, but I asked my buddy, and he's a pretty serious guy, man. So I show him the picture, show him the name, and he gave me like this long pause. I'm like, oh, that's a no. But he was like, oh no, man, this is cool. Let's try it. So we did that, and I started designing, and now we are working on our fall collection, to launch our site at the end of the year. But yeah, man, it's for first responders, military, law enforcement, any it's for the people who make sacrifices. We are not political in any way, shape, or form, but we do support those who sacrifice for everybody else.
Yeah, they're providing service. They're
exactly, man.
Still in service to our country in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, so that's what I'm working on right now. We got a bunch of cool gear coming up. It has been a learning curve, trying to do everything on my own, but yeah, man, the Bastard Union should be up and running by the start of the new year, and hopefully you guys like it, But I've been getting some pretty cool feedback, so we'll see. Try to keep it out of the box, as compared to like the normal veteran clothing lines. You know what I'm saying? So it might be a little different, but
yeah. And I know I don't have anybody carrying anything of mine, so I think I'm gonna have some citradio.com or any of these guys. He's the only one. Sitch Radio is the only one that's produced my cup for me and stuff, and shirt. But I think you to carry my clothing line of cool stuff would be great. I know we talked about it a little bit for Combat Vet Vision. But hey, we got a couple minutes, Eric. If someone wants to get a hold of you, if somebody, any last thoughts on you for anybody out there, much appreciated. Thanks for sharing some of these good things that you're doing. For sure.
Yeah, man. If anyone wants to get a hold of me, you can give them my info, man. I'll answer the phone anytime, day or night. If anybody needs to talk, whatever, you can give them my number and my email. I apologize. I do not do social media, but Bastard Union has an Instagram that's kind of up and running, but doesn't do justice. But yeah, just give anybody my number who wants to talk or whatever. Don't really matter. You can give them my address. I don't care.
Well, we won't go that far, but I will say, if you need to get a hold of Eric, you can get a hold of him through me, right here on citradio.com and Combat Vet Vision. It does. It goes across my YouTube channel as well as Facebook. I know I put a lot of stuff out there from different ways, but thanks to citradio.com for making this happen, and Brian Colburn. Thanks Eric for all your help and support. Much love to you. Thanks for volunteering and helping me do this process. I mean, you're the reason why I'm doing it for the beginning, just so people know. When Eric went to Camp Hope and we got him there, he was actually the first guy from Southern California that, with relationship to the Warrior Built Foundation and Nick and me, just kind of getting him. He called me back. He's like, "Hey, Chief, they want you to come down here, go through the curriculum a little bit, and then come back and kind of do this program." So I did that. I did that and came back, and both me and Eric worked in the foundation, first guys on the foundation as coordinators, helping other veterans, getting some guys to Camp Hope. So thank you. Much love, brother.
Hey, man, I want to give one more shout out, man. PTSD Foundation of America, Camp Hope. I love every one of you guys. I love the program, and thank you. I totally forgot to throw them in there, but last but definitely not least, man. So All right.
Thanks, Eric. Hey, this is Combat Vet Vision. This is I'm Aaron Siebert, retired Navy chief, lucky to be alive after being hit with a mortar round April of 2006. I told myself a long time ago that I wasn't going to be a drunk guy at the end of a bar, and but I'm able to help those that can't do it, and it's through a lot of different networking and processes. But strength and honor, out.